It is time. Like, I can't wait. We got to talk about it. UFC 270 recap. Main event of the evening. Francis Ngannou and Ciryl Gane. Francis Ngannou with the unanimous decision victory over Ciryl Gane. And oh my fucking goodness. Like, let's relax. Let's relax for a second. I'm like freaking out already. Dude, I have to talk about the evolution of Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, no joke, man.
It's incredible to see. It was incredible to watch. And I'm still baffled, like, right now. I'm almost at a loss for words because I don't think anybody saw, this fight winning unanimous decision. Everyone was saying before this fight, if this goes to unanimous decision, it's a Ciryl Gane victory, not Francis Ngannou victory.
No.
And how did Francis Ngannou get the victory? He took Ciryl Gane down and dominated him on the ground multiple times.
Well, that's definitely the thing. I mean, we talk about the evolution of Francis Ngannou. Ngannou has always been known for his power, never for the groundwork, never for the ground game, but he had the perfect game plan in place here. You know, obviously, Ciryl Gane may have won those first 2 rounds, but Francis Ngannou did what a true mixed martial artist does. You know, he may have thought he was losing on the feet. Ciryl Gane maybe getting the better of those exchanges. But what Ngannou was able to do to switch it up, to go to the grappling, go to the wrestling, take Ciryl Gane down. I mean, the strength of this man is undeniable. Ciryl Gane is a monster, an absolute monster. And Ngannou ragdolled him. He tossed him a couple times, and you could just see the brute strength of Francis Ngannou, man. I mean, what a performance. No one saw this coming. I believe the odds for a Francis Ngannou decision was like a plus 1,100 or something crazy like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll have to look again, but it was very, very high. No one saw Ngannou winning by decision. But again, he went out there and he shocked the world, and he proved everyone wrong, you know, because no one thought he'd win by decision. Tabor, do you have anything to add?
I mean, it was incredible to watch, dude. Like, let's just start off like the Jairzinho Rosenstrike Francis, the Francis that showed up in the first Stipe fight, the Francis from like the years we've seen. And now we see a new Francis, like this Francis, this calculated, this patient, this picking his and choosing his shots Francis. The way he marched Ciryl Gane down was keeping Ciryl against the fence was beautiful to watch. That's how you need to fight that man. You got to take his legs away from him. Yes, he was getting hit with big kicks. He was getting hit with body kicks. He was getting hit with body shots. He was getting hit with leg kicks as well. But Francis knew he needs to stay right in front of this man. He needs to almost fight in a phone booth. He needs to take Ciryl Gane's kicks away. And that's what he did, man. Like, I don't think anyone saw this coming, man. I'm just going to say that over and over again. No one saw that happening that way. It was absolutely incredible to watch. So many people in the chats were saying this last night. Ignorant MMA, even on our preview show, Ignorant's like, you guys don't understand. They're trying to make Francis Ngannou the Usman of the heavyweight division. Mm-hmm. And that's what we saw last night.
And I have to add this as well, because it's a huge story. I watched the post-fight press conference this morning. I got up real early and was playing it. Francis Ngannou, I don't know if you guys know this, but he fucking blew out his knee before this fight. And he decided to take the fight anyway, knowing that he could very well lose the fight, knowing that, you know, his reputation, the whole contract stipulations, him going over to boxing, he had all this money on the line, but the champion decided to take this fight anyway with a blown knee, you guys.
Yes, I heard about that.
It's absolutely incredible. It's incredible because then when you put it in perspective and you see the way that he was tossing Ciryl Gane around, you saw the strength. It was, you know, I have to say I have so much respect for Francis Ngannou for going out there and putting on a performance like he did. You know, Ciryl Gane looked good, but Francis Ngannou was better that night. So via unanimous decision as well, Francis Ngannou retains his heavyweight championship of the world. Are you fucking kidding
Absolutely
me?
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And then you have the politics with that. I mean, Dana didn't put the belt on him. Who did he just give it to some dude?
Mick Maynard put the belt on Francis Ngannou, and Dana White didn't even show up to the post-fight press conference. You know, I think we all know why. I think Dana White was rooting very hard for Ciryl Gane. He did not want Francis Ngannou to win that belt, and that showed by his actions. Look, this is a pay-per-view. This is UFC 270. This is a big fucking deal. For the president not to show up to the post-fight and then not to wrap the belt around the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Francis Ngannou, you know there's bad blood there. And here's the thing. This is what we've been talking about for a long time, so I want to actually clarify it here. You know, we were talking a lot about, okay, well, how does it work when a champion wins? He then has to sign a contract. No, this is actually how it works. Francis Ngannou, after December, he's free from his contract. Absolutely free. He does not have to fight anyone at all, and then he's released from the UFC. He has fulfilled his contract with the UFC. I think that's why Dana White's so mad. He realizes Francis Ngannou is not coming back unless Dana White signs that hybrid contract. And, Dana White's a businessman. He's savvy, but he also doesn't want to be one-upped. And I think with Ngannou winning, and now the ball's in Dana's court as far as what he wants to do with this heavyweight champ. Are we literally not going to have a champion? Is he going to do another IC, Cyril Gane, Derek Lewis again, or some shit like that? Like, no, we don't know.
If let's just hypothetical devil's avocado here. We'll get to that in a second too. But I mean, if there's an IC belt, Stipe deserves that respect. His name needs to be in the mix there.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that man, especially if they're doing this, I already see it in the chats. Ant W, shout out to you, my guy. He's saying that, everyone's talking about the MCL and the ACL tear. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat so far. Benji and Kevin, I see you guys all there. They're saying that, are we going to see Francis Ngannou sit out for the rest of the year? Like you just said, now he's got a blown knee. He almost has to. So everything is set up perfectly for the man. What are we going to do with this heavyweight division now? If it's going to be an IC belt, like who? Like Gane, Stipe? And then, like you said, you have John Jones in the mix. John Jones was chirping up on Twitter last night saying that he would fuck up both of these men, and he's now more confident than ever that he will be the new heavyweight champ.
Yeah. I mean, that's what John Jones is saying, but that's a lot of what he's done. I mean, he's talked now for almost 2 years and hasn't signed hasn't signed a fight, I should say. So, like the whole John Jones situation, I don't really give a shit about. I think what Dana White realistically does is what you just said, Tabor. I think it's Cyril Gane, Stipe Miocic for the interim champ until Ngannou's contract runs up, and then, whoever wins that fight. Here's the thing. That you might not see that fight till next year, until January, because, he can either do one of two things. He could do the IC champ. I don't think he wants to do that again. Or he just waits until Ngannou's, relinquishes his belt after his contract's done. He goes over to boxing. And then in January or February, you're going to get that heavyweight undisputed title against Stipe Miocic and Cyril Gane. I think Cyril Gane deserves the shot. He was the IC champ. He did get defeated by Ngannou. And then you have Stipe, the undisputed greatest heavyweight of all time. Ngannou could get there one day, but it's looking like that's not going to happen.
Well, I'm just going to say it right now. If the best thing for Ngannou, like I know we're going to get into boxing and stuff like that, he needs to stay in the UFC. He needs to stay in MMA. The way he's evolved his game, now he's a wrestler. Like, play the Nate Diaz clip. Oh, you're a wrestler now. Yeah, you're a wrestler now. He can dominate anyone in this division. He already has. He's beaten the best of the best. This man could be heavyweight champion for years to come. He could be the greatest heavyweight the UFC has ever seen. The athleticism, the strength of this man, it's absolutely incredible. Like, but boxing, but money. I don't want to fight for $600,000 anymore. Did you watch the post-fight press conference? What was Ngannou saying, really?
He was being very vague in a lot of what he was saying in the post-fight conference. He was getting a little testy with reporters, too, who were asking him about Dana, why he didn't wrap the belt around him. Are you going to boxing? He was very short with his answers, and he was a little testy. He didn't want to talk about that, But here's the thing. Like, from a fan perspective, you are absolutely right, and I totally agree with that. I think, for instance, Ngannou could be the greatest heavyweight of all time. But again, in what you just said, it's the pay. It's the money. Why take $500,000 to defend your heavyweight belt, or you can go to boxing and fight some jamoke for $15 million and knock his ass out, And I'm not saying he's going to get some jamoke, but
he's not going to fight jamokes. I mean, he already wants the Tyson Fury fight. Tyson's already like, come over to boxing and we'll make some real fucking money and you can catch these hands. He gets viciously KO'd by Tyson Fury, man.
Yeah, I just don't think realistically they make that fight for the first fight for Francis Ngannou as a boxer. It's just,
why not though? Why not? Millions of dollars. You do that Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather situation. You do the Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul situation. I mean, like, precedent has been set already.
Yeah. And I don't disagree with that. But again, we've talked about this off air, so we'll talk about it on the show. I like if Ngannou's going to go to boxing, which we all assume he's going to, give him a guy like Deontay Wilder first. Okay? Both these guys are power punchers. They're not the best technically. And no disrespect to Francis Ngannou, he's just not a boxer, right? He's a mixed martial artist. So if you let him get in a ring for the first time against Deontay Wilder, who's not the most technical boxer, the problem with Tyson Fury, and I love Francis Ngannou, Tyson Fury pieces him up, man. I mean, the reach, the quickness, the strength of Tyson Fury.
The sweet science, man. The head movement, everything all together. He could avoid that power, and I don't think Ngannou's got the speed.
No, he doesn't. And that would be the biggest problem. So, like, for me as a fan, for the continuation of Ngannou's career, I'm going to go watch him. I'm serious. Like, Ngannou is one of my favorite fighters. I'm going to go watch him in boxing. Like, I don't care what sport he's in. He's entertaining. He's got that Mike Tyson aspect to him, you know. But I would much rather have the Deontay Wilder. Let's see what he can do against a Wilder, and then the Tyson Fury. Because technically, like, in all seriousness, a lot of people would pay for that Deontay Wilder and Francis Ngannou. I mean, come on, man. We would pay for it. I would do a fight companion for that. And this is a fucking MMA channel. But
I don't know. Fight, maybe.
Well, I mean, I'll do it by myself.
I'll do it by myself.
I'll do it by myself. But after that fight, you make a ton of money with Deontay Wilder. You know, Deontay Wilder's coming off that loss to Tyson Fury. That one makes sense. And then if you can get past Wilder, dude, give him Tyson Fury, and now you're making buco bucks, especially if he's able to get past Wilder, you know. I think that sets it up even more.
Yeah, I love that matchup. And we already have people, Benji's in the chats. He agrees. I love that idea. Francis versus Wilder, power versus power. Yep. I love it. I love that fight. I think that's a way better matchup than a Tyson Fury, man, because Tyson Fury, 100%, he's the best boxer in the world right now. We all talked about that Anthony Joshua fight. Anthony Joshua lost his belt again to some other guy I've never even met. Now they're talking about him fighting that winner of that. Yeah. I don't know. There's so many politics and bullshit that going on with boxing right now. And now we got Francis Ngannou in the mix. Like, I'm just going to repeat myself over and over again, man. I want this man to stay in the UFC. I want him to stay in MMA. Dana, please, bro, just fucking pay this man. Just fucking pay this man so he stays. It would be a damn shame. And think about it from this perspective, too. It makes the UFC and it makes Dana White in particular look bad, man.
Yeah, it's
this
really
is a
not
bad
a good look.
Well, not only because of the politics and the pay and all this stuff. So the pay has been in the news week after fucking week lately. It's been insane. But I mean, like, if you let Ngannou leave with bad blood and bad intentions, and then he goes in and gets viciously fucked up in a boxing ring, that makes the entire UFC organization look bad, man. Like, you cannot be out here say these are the best fighters in the world, and then they move on to other sports and get fucked up, man. And you'll never see these guys come to the MMA. You'll never see these guys step foot in the cage. There's a reason why Tyson Fury's like, come over into my game, my guy. Come over into my realm. Come into my world. Because you know any of these guys gets in the ring, Francis fucks them up. He knocks them the fuck out with those little gloves, or he takes them down like we just saw with the Evolution and the Usman now. Like, pretty soon, we should be saying Button Ngannou now.
Yeah.
Button Ngannou. But now we're just going to be saying, well, what could have been? What could have been. And that's just, it's devastating to me, man. I don't want to see that.
No, it's definitely devastating. I totally agree with you. As far as a bad look for the UFC, though, I think more on the aspect, I don't disagree with you. You know, if Ngannou goes over there and gets pieced up, not a good look for the UFC. But what's not a good look for the UFC is, and again, I'm a Dana dick rider. I do love Dana White. I think he's a great businessman, a great president. But I disagreed with the fact that he didn't show up, wrap that strap around the undisputed heavyweight, and then not to show up to the post-fight conference. Like, I don't know. That's not a good look. Like, I know you're upset, Dana. I get it, because you're going to have to pay this fighter. You're in a bit of a conundrum now. But, dude, you got to – sometimes you just got to suck it up. You know, I mean, he lost. Like, Dana White lost, and he knew he lost, and he doesn't like to lose. So instead of showing up and taking that L, you know, because Ngannou retained his belt – he just said, well, fuck off. I'm just going to go home. And I just don't like that as a president. I would have really liked to hear. I would have liked to hear from the president, Dana White, like what he had to say about the Figgy Moreno 3 and are we going to get that fourth fight? You know, that's a question that is burning inside of me. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to say the same thing that I said on the Fight Companion. Make it happen. Make it happen. That first fight, draw, basically. You know, I mean, Figgy technically retained the belt, but it was a draw. Okay, second fight, Moreno goes out there, submits him, finishes him. Third fight, Figgy wins via unanimous decision.
And extremely
it's basically, it's a rubber match, man. It's basically 1-1. It's basically 1-1. So make that fourth fight. It's so much fun. Like, these fights are entertaining. We were on the edge of our seats during the fight companion, man. I mean, do you disagree? Are those fights not great?
No, they're all great. And shout out to the chats. AJ Wolf said he might need surgery. Benji's saying he completely agrees with us. But I want to talk about this real quick. Ant W came in and said if Francis was smart, he would sit out and leave, take the 15 to 20 mil to fight Fury. No matter what, he can always come back in MMA. Couture sued the UFC and came back multiple times. That's very true. But I mean, if he goes and gets paid in boxing 15, 20 mil, especially with as humble as this man is, he's not out there driving Ferraris and fucking buying Lambos and shit. Like, he's a very humble man. Goes back to Cameroon. He still works in the sand mines. Like this man won't ever have to come back.
No.
He might never fight again after that. And like, I get it. You made your money. Ride off into the sunset. Don't take that brain damage and stuff like that. Like, why keep putting your health on the line? But I mean, it just sucks, man. Like, it sucks for in a fan's perspective, because I want to see this man fight every single fucking weekend. If he needs surgery, I get it. He'll probably sit out the rest of the year. Who knows what's going to happen there?
Well, and I think that added to Dana White's frustration, because, obviously we know now that Ngannou's knees were blown out, MCL, ACL. So that's a full year recovery, especially for a big boy like Francis Ngannou. I mean, that's going to take a year to recover. So even if Francis Ngannou does get back in November, December, you still got those contract negotiations that are not going to go well with Dana. So, you guys, put this one on the old UFC Fight Pass. This may be the last time we ever see Francis Ngannou in an octagon.
Absolutely. I hope not. I
really hope not too, man. I fucking love Ngannou, but it's a really good possibility.
Yeah. Joseph Bilotti, shout out to you, my guy. Dana got rid of Cyborg for God's sake. Yeah. And now it's about to be an Ngannou. This could be the biggest, like, I don't want to say letdown in the UFC fans' perspective or something like that, but I mean, it just sucks. Like, I don't know what to say, man. I'm a little depressed with this whole situation. But we've talked a lot about Ngannou, and I want to talk about this. Joseph also said in the chats, do you guys think Gon got exposed? No. I think Gon is one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners we've seen in the heavyweight division in a very long time. But when you have a man like Francis Ngannou laying on top of you, and like, to speak more of the evolution of Francis's game, that transition from bottom when he swept Gon.
Yeah, he swept the leg and got right on top.
I was technical.
Like, what?
Extremely technical there from a man who we never even knew he had a ground game like this. This man got exposed by Stipe years before. We're like, he'll never be a grappler. He'll never be a wrestler. He's a one-punch knockout artist. He's a one-trick pony, but he silenced it all. Bro, don't leave MMA, bro. Gon is good. He won those first 2 rounds, in my opinion. The first round was pretty close. They were trading back and forth a little bit. Very conservative from both men. They were respecting each other's power, as you need to with the heavyweight division, But Gon was up 2-0. And then Francis dominated on the ground those last 2 rounds. Obviously got the big victory there. But, I mean, it's crazy, man. Gon, to speak on him, because we haven't touched on him nearly at all, this man is still, in my opinion, the second best heavyweight in the entire world. I think Gon beats them all. I think Gon probably beats John Jones. I think Gon beats Stipe. Gon beats Derek Lewis. We've seen it. He'll beat him again, too. He'll beat every single person in this heavyweight division. He could be, if Francis walks away and leaves, Gon could be the champ forever, man. I mean, I don't think he got exposed. I just think he got outclassed by a better fighter, man. And that's what Francis has become. He's become the best heavyweight we've seen in a very long time.
100% agree with all that. And I also agree with the fact that he didn't necessarily get exposed. Gon did a good job. He got back up to his feet a couple times. I mean, we have to give him props.
Yep.
Ngannou's a very strong man. Ngannou did toss him around a couple times, but, and that's the thing, too. A true testament to both these fighters. You could tell in those championship rounds, they were both very tired, but they got it done. Guys, if you're watching right now, please be sure to smash that like button, guys. It really does help. We got 10 people watching on YouTube, but only 2 likes. So let's
come on, guys. Smash that like button. Let's get those likes up. And if you haven't already, share it on your social media accounts as well. That helps us out so much. Real quick, Ant W, if Francis was smart, I read that one. Going into last night's fight, I gave John maybe a 10% chance of beating either guy. After last night, I gave him a 70% chance of beating Gon and a 50% chance with Francis. Let's talk about John Jones, because that's going to be the biggest talking point. He was talking shit on Twitter. He says he'd smoke both of these guys. Do they make the John Jones fight for the belt next? We really have 2 hypotheticals here. Yeah, Francis is gone, and they do an undisputed vacant heavyweight championship belt with either like John Jones Stipe or John Jones Gon.
Yep.
Like, How do you like John's in this heavyweight division? Let's almost have two situations. How do you like John in this heavyweight division without Francis? And how do you like John in this heavyweight division with Francis?
Well, I tell you right now, I like John a lot better with Ngannou in the picture. That's the heavyweight fight to make. And then what you could do, which, guys, this isn't going to happen. Ngannou's gone. He's not fighting in the UFC. I hope he is. But you're doing Ngannou-Jones, hypothetically, and then what you do for the number one contender? Stipe Miocic, Cyril Gane, both coming off losses to Francis Ngannou, the undisputed heavyweight champion. The winner of that takes on the winner of Ngannou-Jones. It would set up this heavyweight division perfectly, and it would be huge for the sport, guys. Huge for the UFC. If we could get Ngannou to stay here, you get the Jones fight, and then you get Cyril Gane and Stipe Miocic. Are you kidding me or what? Please, the MMA gods, be on the side of Francis Ngannou here. I really, really hope he stays in the UFC because he's a phenomenal, evolutionized mixed martial artist, and I just love watching this man fight.
Yeah, I love those matchups. I love everyone. Now, Ngannou's gone.
Yeah, okay. So Ngannou's gone.
What's the matchups?
So I think, man, see, that makes it a lot. Now we're in a conundrum. Because
it's either Stipe Jones or Gane Jones,
or
right?
Gane Jones. Yeah.
I would almost have to give, with all due respect to Stipe, undisputed greatest heavyweight of all time, all due respect to him. But he hasn't fought since that last Ngannou fight. And he said yes to Jon Jones already. He wants that fight. He would totally be down. But is Jon Jones going to take that fight? If the belt's on the line, probably yes.
If the belt's on the line, yes.
I almost think Gane deserves it more. Am I crazy for saying that? I almost think you should do a Gane and Jon Jones with, and you guys know I'm a huge Stipe dick rider.
Yeah,
but it hurts me to say that. But I almost think Gane deserves it more.
This is an alternate universe. This is so weird where I'm the one defending Stipe Miocic and you're the one saying Gane deserves it more. Let me tell you why Stipe Miocic deserves it more. He was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He's had multiple title defenses. You know, Cyril Gane was interim champ, but then lost to the champ. I think if anyone is more deserving of a heavyweight shot against Jon Jones if Francis Ngannou leaves, is Stipe Miocic. He absolutely has to get that shot for multiple reasons. One, multiple defending champion. And then number two, he already agreed like 6 to 8 months ago to take on Jon Jones. That man is deserving of the heavyweight shot. So give me, if I am the matchmaker, this is what I do. Give me, Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic for the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world if Francis Ngannou is no longer with us.
Okay.
I'll actually be upset. I'll be upset if it's Cyril Gane and Jon Jones. I think realistically, that's the way Dana goes because Dana wants Cyril Gane to be champ. He probably wants Jon Jones to lose that fight too. But I think Stipe is much more deserving.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, let us know in the chats, what do you guys want to see in the heavyweight matchups there? Like, what do you guys see happening in the future? Who do you want to see fight for this vacant title if Ngannou's gone? In Africa Showcase, Najee, shout out to you. This is the first time I've seen your name in the chats. He said Jon Jones is a bum, and he also means, what do you mean Francis is gone?
So
dude, Francis' contract is over, man.
Yeah, his contract is over in December. He blew out his knee, so he's probably not going to fight for the rest of this year. So that's what it is. Ngannou's going to sit on his contract, and then he's released from the UFC in December with the contract being finalized. So I think that's realistically what will happen.
Shout out to Ant W. I think Jones fights for the vacant title. I think having Gane versus Miocic would be tough. Both guys coming off losses to Francis. Benji, Francis is a free agent in December. He wants to box. Dana isn't paying him. He is what he's worth to stay in MMA. He might be gone because of these points, man.
That's a good point to bring up. I didn't even think about. This is what you do. Because realistically, Dana White knows Ngannou's probably not going to sign with the UFC. So what do? That he makes a really good point. Both those guys coming off a loss. So here we go. Bada bing, bada boom. You go Cyril Gane, right? Stipe Miocic for the number one contender. The winner of that takes on Jon Jones. Look, I understand the whole Jon Jones thing. Why does Jon get an immediate title shot? Because that's the only way it's going to work. Yeah. Jon Jones has never lost a fight. No, the 12-6 elbow.
Hey, that was a loss.
All right,
that
whatever.
was a disqualification.
It was a disqualification, but he was beating the living piss out of Hamill, bro. I felt bad for that man. I was praying for him watching that fight live. But so Jon Jones will get that title shot, but you got to do Gane and Miocic for the number one contender. And you could do that International Fight Week. And then in December, if the contract negotiations don't go well with Ngannou, you throw Jon Jones in there as a replacement for whoever wins that Gane-Stipe fight.
Yeah, shout out to K-Files. He absolutely agrees with you there. He says Gane versus Miocic, whoever wins takes on Jones.
Yep.
So even before we move on to the next fight, Dana White even said last night, like, he doesn't see John Jones fighting for the title next. Like, he doesn't see those negotiations going anywhere. Like, once again, if they're not going to pay Francis $1 million a fight,
they ain't gonna pay John.
I mean, they already offered him what, like $5 or $6 million for the fight?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I want 15. And they're like, not happening, bro. It just sucks, man. Like, this whole heavyweight division right now, I feel like it's almost in the bantamweight division like situation we have going on with Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling. Like, we're gonna be in limbo here for a while, which it really sucks, man. And that's super unfortunate.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Absolutely. Let's move on to church coin picks for this. I was all in on Gane, and I lost 5,000 church coin essentially. My month is up. My defense did not go well. I'm pulling a Brandon Moreno, and I'm losing my first title defense. It's not going good, guys. The belt is lost.
The belt is fucking lost. Did we bring that up?
And no, I don't have it. And no, it's not. I don't have it in my house. I'm not hiding it. I'm not trying to not give it away. It's gone, guys. It should have been here this week. If it was here, I'd be having it around my fucking shoulder right now.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and
it is what it is.
Honestly, for you, Tabor, I want that to happen. I want the belt to show up before February 12th, so you can hand it to me personally, because your ass is getting fucking smoked by this guy. No, but in all seriousness, Tabor is the church coin champ. I really do, Tabor. I'm very sorry. Like, I really wish it was here for you so you could enjoy that, having the strap on your shoulder and stuff. But if it does even show up February 5th or 12th, like, I want you to at least enjoy that moment and have that strap on you.
Oh, dude, we're doing a full-blown photo shoot for the Instagram with me.
Absolutely.
I'm going to dress like a WWE superstar.
I'm going to Photoshop you in like an octagon. It's going to be great. So for me, I put 2,000 church coin on Ngannou. I got a nice little return there at a plus 130. I got 2,600 church coins, so that's a good start for me.
Yeah, Cosmo was all in on Francis, and he got a nice return of 5,692 church coin. Shout out to you, Cosmo. I know you're not here in the chats right now. We started a little bit early. He might still be out cold because he stayed up to like 7 a.m. his time to watch the fights and call in and all that. Shout out to everybody that called in after the Fight Companion last night as well.